Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Nanyang Championship here. It's the EU qualifier, and we're going back into the upper bracket now for a battle of the monkeys. It's the Monkey Freedom Fighters going against Monkey Business. This is Coddle Guy for Beyond the Summit. That gentleman there with the matching hoodie is Gods. Hello. We had a nice little break. We got some juice. We're feeling warmed up and ready. Monkey versus monkey action here. How are we feeling?
Ooh, feeling good. Feeling like this should be some fun. I'm looking forward to see, especially the Monkey Freedom Fighters against like one of the top tier 1 teams, because this team has not been consistent. They recently lost in the Summit 4 Open qualifiers.
Yeah.
They've had mixed results, to say the least. For Monkey Business, they were on an undefeated streak until they lost to Virtus Pro in the WCA qualifiers. So definitely the favorites coming in, but to me, a lot of talent on this Monkey Freedom Fighters side. And curious to see what they can come up with.
Yeah, you were talking about them a bit during our break. Yapsor, who is unknown to me, but you're saying is a very top-notch kind of pub star support player. Of course, we know Mr. Fucking Mad. We got Sing Sing himself, Paris, and Necroman. Okay, because in the lobby, his name was like... I didn't know who that was, but it's Necroman. Wasn't Arise originally on this roster? I think they made a recent swap, and it's Necroman in now, and Arise is out. Ooh.
Yeah. And Yaps was actually the one in the drafter's seat, so something where normally it's been Seb or Fucking Mad, however you want to call him, playing that kind of captain drafter role. I imagine he's probably still doing a lot of shot calling, but Yapster, one of those newcomers to the competitive scene, but tremendous talent. Known for his, he made a tweet a few years ago. Like he finally reached 7K MMR playing Earthshaker Rubik, basically playing support only.
Oh.
So for all you support players out there, you can climb the MMR leaderboards, even playing support.
Yeah, and you're not going to be a hip team nowadays unless you get a cool, fresh-faced pub star. That's just what all the cool teams are doing now. You got your Miracles, your Wars, your Biryus, your Ritsus. You got to make sure you get this unknown, unharnessed. Everyone wants the next Sumail. So we'll see if it's going to be the case here. Yapsor on one side and Miracle Boy on the other. Let's talk about the draft at hand. Monkey's Business are going to be opening up, and this feels a bit of, well, the last meta. Very different from our opening Best of 1 Gods. They're going to get the Lena AM. Monkey Freedom Fighters get their Earthshaker that we were just talking about, and the Darkseer. Yeah. This is very 6.84, but I got to imagine for a lot of these players, maybe you're not in a comfortable spot yet where you're really looking to experiment. These are heroes that they are freshly experienced and warmed up with.
Yeah, this could be any draft you'd see in 6.84, especially going back to what we were seeing like in the Nanyang America qualifiers, where Lena was a top priority, and then teams loved the Earthshaker. We're always picking Anti-Mage as a kind of a counter pick to the Darkseer. The laning matchup works really well for Anti-Mage against Darkseer. Good at zoning him out. You can always farm against the Darkseer, and that's where Monkey Business will go for the Anti-Mage when they see the Darkseer. And also Earthshaker, another hero that's not great against Anti-Mage at really any stage of the game. So you pick up Anti-Mage, who counters Earthshaker and Darkseer pretty well, and then you ban out some of the better counters. Bloodseeker, amazing against Anti-Mage. Queen of Pain has the pure damage from Sonic Wave. So you kind of force Monkey Freedom Fighters to consider what's left as far as ways of killing an AM. For now, TA, good physical damage, good ways to burst him down, but you can't lock him in place as well as a TA. You're entirely relying on your team for that.
Making me wonder, though. Excuse me, my that juice, man. Whew. What'd you put in it? All right. Templar Assassin, I felt like now with some of the recent changes, like let's say your Medallion, for example, not being as potent against Roche, makes heroes like TA a bit more valuable. They are on Radiant side, so they kind of would have to establish some serious map control to be able to be crafted with any sort of Roche play. But is this just kind of going for something that seems to be still a top priority grab in the mid lane? Like, what does TA add here? Especially being on Radiant side, it gives you the hefty burst it's very nice against maybe someone who could be caught out really squishy in the earlier game, like an AM, like a Lena. But I don't know. I just feel like we could have had some more prominent, stronger options for the mid lane than a TA.
Yeah. I think it's two factors. One, it's a good hero to match up against Lena. We saw, I think it was like Fire with Fluff, always drafting a TA when the opposing team first picked Lena. And two, a way of killing the Anti-Mage, as to go back to that point where you can't easily bring him down with Earthshaker or Darkseer. You've just got some control. You've got no damage whatsoever. So when Monkey Freedom Fighters, or when Monkey Business see the TA, maybe they say, okay, they're going to pick a TA mid. Let's not run the Lena there. Let's pick something else that matches up better. That's always a possibility, but we'll see whether or not that's going to be a concern for them or not for Miracle in the mid lane.
They got a clockwork now, though, so off lane established. You get that strong initiation, and we all know how good clockwork can be, especially against the likes of an Earthshaker. He'll be able to have a little bit of guidance and detecting out with the rocket. Then you get that early setup, and Earthshaker does the inimitable dance of death, where you can't even get the setup of an enchant totem or anything. So offers great lockdown, great control for what could be a very, very ridiculous team fight coming out from the Freedom Fighter side. But this still just feels safe to me, gods. I am looking for something a bit spunky. I want something 6.85. All right?
That's where teams will have to go with their last pick or two, I feel. At least I hope so. Some of the support changes, maybe you're going to see something a bit different come out, but maybe some more Keeper of the Light that could keep you happy. But
yeah, well, I don't know why Keeper of the Light is now such a big deal. Like, sure, he got a buff to the cooldown reduction, but you got to remember his anti-push, which is usually the bread and butter for this hero. Like these siege creeps, 80% or 90%, you can't even easily take down a siege creep with a blast. It only does about 100 damage after you commit a full level 4 5-second channel blast. So I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to change up the style of the game a bit, where a Coddle becomes a bit more reliable. I'm just interested to see if that is going to be a trend that continues or not. But for now, Monkey Freedom Fighters step off and pick up a Disruptor here. Bit of an intriguing grab. You know, Glimpse is nice to, I guess, get AM or Clockwork off your bones after committing in so deep, and you get the silence. But look at this.
You asked for 6.85, you get 6.85.
That's what I'm talking about. Venomancer received quite a bit of love in this recent 6.85 patch. His Poison Sting damage has been increased. It used to be like, what, 5, 10, 15, 20. Boasted up 6, 12, 18, 24 now. And his Poison Sting will work normally on illusions. The damage has been scaled a bit differently. It lasts longer but doesn't do as much. Overall, what was taken away from this, at least from some of the analysts I was watching, is that he becomes a bit more potent as a core Venomancer. So I saw, aside from this, only Complexity pick it up. And they did run it in the mid lane at that point. So I'm curious to see how Monkey's business is going to do. It's a hero that Sing Sing despises, and he's going to have to go up against it.
Yeah. The TA versus Venom matchup, it's not impossible for a TA. You'll have to prioritize more points in the Poison Sting, going for like a meldless build almost against the Venom, if it is going to be a mid-core Venomancer, which I think you don't want to. You'd much rather run a Venom mid than a Lina mid. So it's still not impossible for the TA, but it's very, very frustrating because you're never going to have your Refraction. You're never going to have that available to you. Should you get, and then when you get ganked by, let's say, Clockwork hits level 6, come in with a hook shot, you're done for.
You know, now that I think about it, that game with Complexity, it was against a TA, and I had said that same thing at the time, like, oh, it's probably helped against the Refraction, of course.
And even just the buff to Poison Sting alone makes that matchup a lot more tricky for the TA. It's that little bit of extra damage coming out from the Poison Sting where TA will just get pushed back and just have a rougher time last hitting against a Venomancer.
Final couple of bans fly out here. Monkey Business get rid of Spectre, who, this is what a lot of people are saying is going to be that new scary Lesh pick, the Spectre. Only received buffs in this recent patch and was already starting to become a hot commodity at the end of 6.84. Here, you know, players like Ritsu was picking it up, got the eye of Eternal Envy, Arteezy, and they started throwing it into their little Rolodex of heroes. Now the hero's buffed even more, and the item progression that she used to go for. Manta's better, Heart's better, Radiance is better. So I figured this was going to be a top grab for cores. Still could be, but for now just going to be banned out, and Monkey Freedom Fighters are going to have to look elsewhere. What do you think they could go for here as their...
I think they can go for a Phantom Assassin. I think it'd be a perfect
Holy
pick here,
snaps,
Dakota.
gods! You are an oracle.
All right. Bit of brain
you guys,
there,
it might have sounded a bit weird there, but there was a delay. He actually made that call.
We'll make a
his
few
pick.
tweaks and get the audio sync worked out for you guys.
Totally
Sorry,
weird.
I said that definitely before the PA was picked.
So PA again. We got to see it earlier today. Fun little shenanigans, of course, with the dagger setup. Do you think the PA was a big factor to Alliance's win? Do you think it's just going to be a hero that we'll continue to see a lot of? And what can it do here for Mr. MFF squad?
It wasn't a big factor, but it was not a big factor because it didn't need to be, because Bulldog was just crushing that game from start to finish on profit. So it was a pick that was kind of like the backup plan. If they needed that late game carry, if they needed that, it was the insurance policy where it would have come into play in the late game should Alliance have been in a more even back and forth game. But they just rolled all over Na'Vi, so it didn't matter. But this game, PA, very good against Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage, not a hero that likes to build Monkey King Bar, so not going to be able to deal well with the evasion. And in the past, PA was picked a lot. When Anti-Mage was really popular, it was often you'd see PA used as a counter pick to the Anti-Mage as far as the carry versus carry matchup went.
Look at this disgusting last pick. Undying going to be grabbed from Monkey Business. Adds to the whole eerie, sticky, gooey theme they got going to the back end of their draft. But Undying as a hero, his tomb, initially it's been nerfed down. No more life. It's all about right clicks. But a lot of people are saying that if you put more value into Tombstone early and you can max it to level 4 right away, that actually could still be pretty good. I think it's like 7 hits at level 4, which is still a good chunk of commitment. And that makes it also potentially better in the late game. When normally it would take just an auto attack or 2 to just wipe out a Tombstone, you'll still have to commit all those hits. And if you're drawing attention away from who the prize target should be, then, the Tombstone's pretty much doing its job, especially in the late game. My serial has been flattened. So has yours. As usual, folks, we'll be starting off this game with a crash. So I will frantically get back into it. Again, reborn things. Not too sure what's happening. But, whatever. You have an update, too. So maybe it'll be a new hotfix.
Let's hope they fix the flattened serializers with this update. There we go. Launch game as it suits right.
What were the odds coming into this series? I would imagine Monkey Business were probably slightly favorites. I'm going to say 70-30.
87-13 more like it. Okay.
I don't know if that open qualifier result had any influence.
80, and it went up to 88-12 before the match went live. So
88-12. I'd have to say there's a little bit of a value bet there. Oh, I don't know if it's an 88-12 kind of a game.
Absolutely. I mean, Monkey Business coming in, I'd say definite favorites with just there were recent results in Monkey Freedom Fighters having some okay performances here or there, but
we are just in time for first blood. Look at that. Moon gets in with a deep set of cogs here. Miracle by his side. Looking to right click down Sing Sing. Sing Sing is going to be able to etch away. And it looks like both sides will disperse. First blood will not happen, but it does force out an early salve from Moon here. Let me get my sexy slow cinema camera happening. There we go. And it looks like things will dissolve a bit. So, very different than what we see normally. Usually, off laners put more priority in getting that early ward down, establishing their lane control a bit. This time, the monkeys... Oh, this is going to make it very difficult looking at the top here, which is what monkey. The Monkey Business Squad try to, put their strong foot forward, but they're not going to be walking away with that first blood. So, it will be a TA versus Venomancer mid lane matchup. And Big Daddy going to be playing the Venom mid lane.
Yeah, we'll see how much help the Freedom Fighters will give mid lane. You've got Shaker, who's always going to be a roaming support, so I think we will see some time spent towards mid as far as the Shaker's concerned, but there's not really kill potential. Like one fissure, even if you fissure block the Veno, TA doesn't really have the damage to finish off someone like Veno in the mid lane, especially with all the slows and harass that the Veno can be pushing out.
Oh, Yapzor shows up, gets a very nice block on the crit, and look at this, Paris is here to help, leads in with an early Thunder Strike, and Necroman's going to be able to right-click down this crit Lina, and this is going to be your first blood! Paris is going to pick it up on his Disruptor, but the Monkey Freedom Fighters will strike first. 3 to the mid lane before even the 1 minute mark.
Yeah, and that's a great way of punishing a hero like Lina who wants to come mid, and as if Veno didn't need more help beating a TA, okay, let's send a Lina there, and Monkey Freedom Fighters just leave Mad alone against a dual lane, which is a dual lane where he's not going to get a whole lot of farm, but what farm he can get with Dagger. So whether he's alone or has one support down here isn't going to affect him all too much. So it's a smart rotation and a smart place to have your Disruptor from the start. And we can now see Paris look to head bottom, maybe go for some pull camps to start denying experience away from this aggro dual lane. Because against the aggro dual lane, you want to have your pull open. You want to be able to just sack and deny as much XP as possible to starve out the Clockwork as well as Undying.
As soon as Fly, though, gets to his level 2, Mad will certainly need the extra assistance. Now, Paris is here now. And one nice recent change was the cooldown for Disruptor. As he, and I'm curious to see if it's something that Disruptor players will start maxing out now, whereas they put a lot into Glimpse before, which, don't get me wrong, Glimpse is probably one of the best single target abilities you can ask for in the game of Dota, but Thunderstrike now, with its reduced to 9 seconds at level 4, yeah, that means you'll easily be able to get off 2 of them in one fight. And it's a serious amount of damage, and it still provides the vision. Not the AoE vision, but uh-oh, Fly comes back to the lane, but he comes back to trouble. Cogs are going to be laid on down as Moo is going to try to find a bit of a fight back here, and they will get the return kill. Mad's going to get dropped. Yapzor looking to block the path of Moon, so he can't make it back to the fountain here. Battery Assault, though, will give him the little space necessary. 1 trade apiece. Monkey Freedom Fighters will be up overall 2-1.
Yeah, and good trade for Monkey Business. They get the kill on the PA. They give Clockwork a really easy lane now because Disruptor's completely out of mana. He doesn't have any more Thunder Strikes available.
Looking to harass Necroman here. Crit with an Invis. Was eating a bit of Sideblade damage, but was able to get off the stun. And look at this slow, disgusting poison death. Necroman's going to land the final blow. or Crit rather, will land the final blow, and Necroman will go down. So Monkey Business able to even things up.
TA is probably just like, I'm laning against the Venomancer, and Lena's camping me mid as well. What is this? Top lane, Anti-Mage, really low on HP. Sing Sing on the Darkseer is managed to bully him out of this lane to some extent. The Ring of Health coming with a salve now for Miracle. You normally see, like, it feels like Anti-Mage without the support is just not being able to get to the side shop to get any of these much-needed items. Like, you'll see even just the Ring of Regen bought before the Ring of Health often against this Darkseer matchup, but he's been completely zoned away from the shop, and Sing Sing's just done a great job of winning this lane.
Oh, got him! Yapzor, who constantly has been hiding out in this mid lane, shows himself with a big fissure and allows Necroman to get himself back into action as they take out Big Daddy. And there's just so much movement happening here, and it always seems to be working out. Now, bottom lane, they are going to advance in. They will get the grab onto Mad, and that's the thing, is that they have committed with this dual lane on bottom. And while Monkey Freedom Fighters have been rotating around the supports, keeping this Earthshaker mid lane, and Mad, who is now going on to like stacking duty, leaves Mad alone. Monkey Business recognize that and punish. Yeah. Both teams just really love to put their supports all over the place.
And it's an important kill to get mid lane on No-Tail especially, because Lina had kind of just killed the TA there, and Veno's probably like, okay, I've got this mid lane now, I've got the kill advantage, I'm going to win this lane, and that means Lina can go top to secure the safe lane for the AM, but once they kill the Veno, Lina's going to now second guess, like, okay, do I need to go help mid again? Is this mid lane actually going to be okay for Venomancer? So the constant pressure onto the mid lane is a good way of dealing with the Venomancer and just securing some farm for TA and making the Lina kind of second guess where she can be most useful. She wants to help Anti-Mage farm, but she also wants to make sure Veno doesn't get ganked time and time again.
Well, Crit will have to make a decision, otherwise Lina moves around so much, she'll get no XP and tend to fall off a bit. When, as we all know, Linas usually make their best impact if they're able to kind of catch up on the farm. Some of our options have been nerfed down. Yule's, the casting range has been reduced quite a bit. So I'm curious to see if it's something she will still consider. You still get the classic Lina combo, don't get me wrong. Beautiful follow-up, LSA, and the nuke. And Laguna certainly still packs a serious punch. I'm just curious to see if they're going to be experimenting with the build-up at all. Back at bottom lane, though, it's still Moon and Fly, as Moon's able to finish out his power treads. Fly just nursing his wand for now, allowing Moon to get the copious amount of farm. Overall, seems to be like a bit of a victory here. Mad has been kind of nerfed down on CS. He's at 14-0. You compare that over, Moon's at 27-9 on his clockwork.
Yeah. And that's where Anti-Mage, even though it looked like he was having a rough time, taking a lot of harass, he's taking a lot of harass because he's last hitting almost everything right now. He's sitting on 32 last hits. He's topping the CS charts, and yeah, it comes at the cost of taking a lot of damage and having to buy all this regen items, but it's not a big deal for an Anti-Mage.
And it looks like he's doing a similar build-up to what we saw from the American region in Ritsu. The early Ring of Regen that will eventually go towards the Vlads. Lots of health regen here for now, though, but he'll need it. Shrug off this Ion Shell. Keeps
all items you
can grill.
That you will use later, so doesn't matter for the Anti-Mage. And unless they bring someone top with a surprise gank, and that's not going to happen with the lane ward. They've got to use smoke to get up here with Earthshaker and even a +1. Someone like the Disruptor or PA potentially. But those aren't heroes you want to rotate off their lane. PA already not farming well, and if you kind of resort to ganking, you've just succeeded to the fact that PA is never going to become a true carry this game. So
what I like about this, for the benefit of Monkey's Business, with the Venomancer being on the dire side specifically over this TA in the mid lane, is that he can conveniently walk forward and drop that ward up at the Ancient Camp. He has already done it once, but he'll be able to get that bit of intel if they're stacking the camp or not, and when to expect a rotation there to deal with it. Moon's up here now. He's at level 6. He's got a hook shot in the pocket, and he wants to use it. It looks like it's going to be a top lane. Already moved in very deep Sing Sing here. Still has a surge, but if Crit scares him back, it's going to be towards Moon. There's going to be the hook shot. There's going to be the cog. Battery Assault comes out, and the Beaver Knight will go down. Sing Sing gets dropped, and mid lane, Big Daddy dishes out the Gale on the Necroman early, but no follow-up. So one-man pick-off right there. Sing Sing will go down, and Monkey Business move forward 4-3.
And it's very reminiscent of like a DK mid. You can't leave the lane mid against a Venom to go gank somewhere. Even if TA finds a haste or an invis or a DD rune, this Venom will take the tower if you leave the lane. They're going to go in for a kill. They get it with the fissure. Necroman may die to the poison damage though, and will do so before even getting the TP to Fountain. No experience for Venomancer, but still a victory, I feel like, for well, at least an even trade for Monkey Business, and I'd say even a slight advantage going their way.
Moon shows himself mid lane, can't get close enough before the fissure does come out from Yapzor. He tries to hide himself within the trees, but there's no escaping the robot, the machine. Moon gets it done, eats a Thunder Strike, but it will be able to shrug it off. That Thunder Strike's still level 1. Paris, at a modest level 3, with the 1-1-1 spread. Won't have enough distance on that glimpse to pull him back.
This is where Freedom Fighters have created space for Mad to farm, but Monkey Business don't care because they know Mad is already suffering. He's 0-2, he's not CSing well. So giving him a bit of room for Clockwork to find kills elsewhere on the map is exactly what Monkey Business want to be doing right now. It's one hero who's already been shut down, so there's no real need for Moon to stay bottom lane, especially when you can't kill a PA as Clockwork because you can easily blink out of your Cogs trap. Moon just making the most out of the early game advantage that Monkey Business have.
And now they have gotten Sing even in a position where he has to kind of play a bit more defensively. Crit swoops in, and he's a bit hesitant there. Bottom lane, though, Mad, able to turn things around. At least gets the kill on the Undying, but Moon being there eventually means that they will get the jump. Fly actually gets the kill from the grave. His Tombstone will be able to help picking that one up. And that's the thing, is Monkey Business always seem to kind of get something for themselves, even if it looks like Monkey
they've gone in on Sing Sing now.
And he's trying to run here. No more surge, and boom! Annihilated. Miracle. Happy to press the R button on that one. We'll get the quick grab and the pointy-headed man.
Yeah, this lane ward's paying off and needs to be dealt with. Sing Sing can't lane up top with the lane ward because Crit can just stun him from the trees, or he can just run in and go for a stun after the surge.
They're going for Big Daddy mid lane. They got him down. Big Daddy.
The same 1-for-1 trade. TA gets the kill and XP, or at least gets the XP. The kill went to the PA, but...
Oh! Walk in Echo Slam from Yapzor right onto Moon in the middle of the creep wave. But look at this, Moon! Happily, with a battery assault and the assistance from Fly, they will actually end up getting the kill. Yapzor so close, yet so far.
Moon's just put in so much for his team this game. He's dominated the offlane with Fly. He then ganked top, killed the Darkseer. He then came mid. He's been to all 3 lanes, found kills everywhere, and he's looking at having a Tread's Blade Mail at like 10 minutes in. He's been the most high-impact player on either side so far.
Now Big Daddy actually ventures away from the mid lane. He's coming towards the bottom. They are looking to make a push or take a fight, draw a fight, get Monkey Freedom Fighters towards this bottom lane. They're making it very obvious here that they are pushing. Now, what's the response going to be? For now, just they're
going to look for trades. They don't really want to fight into this bottom lane. They haven't got the heroes to do it. TA doesn't really offer a whole lot. Is still just looking to find some catch-up farm in the mid lane. Similarly, Darkseer, he takes a lot longer to come online compared to a Clockwork, and that's probably the key difference between these two teams is that the offlaner for Monkey Business is much more active early on. You just need a level 6 on Clockwork, and you can get involved, and that's what we've seen. For Monkey Freedom Fighters, Darkseer gets all these early levels, but it's early levels to keep on farming. Darkseer really can get involved once he hits that mech level 8, level 9 window, which it's going to take a long time to get to because Monkey Business are applying so much pressure.
I'm surprised they haven't made a jump on the Mad yet. Now, I'm sure they're considering the response that will come out from the rest. Well, no TP on Yapzor, though. Sing Sing does have one, so does Paris, so does not Necroman. So I'm actually surprised they're not committing in yet for this TA. They're stalking her, though. Look at this. Even staying parallel to where she is. Moon. Oh, got the hook connected.
No creep
Mad's
wave.
in trouble. And he's far from the tower, far from help. And look at that. He actually makes a jump over the cogs towards Fly, looking around the bend. Paris shows up. Bit of conflict right there. Drops the kinetic field and glimpses Moon away.
They had the kill, but Undying showing up gave him a blink target because it was really well timed by Moon. He went in as the creep wave left, so there was no creep wave to blink strike to, but Fly being there as well gave PA a free escape. So he wanted to drop the tune for the extra damage, but he had to stay hidden in fog, otherwise PA gets the easy escape. So bit of maybe miscommunication between what the two players were doing, but not the end of the world. It's still Monkey Business in clear control of this game. Mad is still not really in fighting condition, although he is hit level 9 now, so I imagine PA basically has to come to any fight if Monkey Freedom Fighters want to stand a chance. The TA is very much still in catch-up mode.
Yeah, it looked like they tried to maybe set something up there on the Big Daddy, but not good trajectory on this fissure, and no follow-up going to be in sight. Paris continues to wait behind, but not level 6 yet. This Static Storm could be a good turnaround for the Freedom Fighters, but they don't have it available yet. Look at this rotation in. Nice 2-man fissure comes out. Hook shot. Going to be coming in from behind as Moon gets to grab on the Yapzor. Will help finish him off. Laguna flies. That means that Mad's going to be going down. Necroman, they're going to be the third target here. Moon gets that. He's a mega kill and almost going to be going for a double here. It looks like Paris is going to try to use the trees, but can't make it out. Fly gets the connection with the decay and will go into a killing spree. Monkey Business take down 4 of the Freedom Fighters all day.
And by the way, in case people forgot, there's an anti-mage in this game.
Really?
He's sitting top. He's farming.
Oh, you're right.
He's doing miracle things.
That's
He has
crazy.
been left untouched. He's hit 100 CS, 13 minutes in. Pretty good as far as anti-mage farm goes, and he's going to have a Battle Fury by about 14 minutes, 15 minutes maybe.
Serious insurance policy right here that might not even need to be tapped into at the rate the game's going.
That was a 4v5 fight at mid, and the problem is for Freedom Fighters, again, they haven't finished off the mech on Sing Sing's Darkseer, so he's not really ready to fight. The TA is just being pressured so hard by Venno that we don't see either a Blink or a Desolator or any kind of Yasha build-up, or even maybe you consider it drums at this point. And similarly, on the PA, we've only got Treads and Aquila.
Moon creeps in, will get the catch on the Paris, and even under his own tower, they will get the kill. Fly gets the last hit onto that one. They succeed in their assassination in the mid lane.
Top
and
lane.
It looks like rotation towards top. They're looking to save out Miracle, who's able to get the blink away. Fly shows up and is going to be creating the space. Back at mid, though, Necroman hides under his meld. It looked like Monkey Business were rotating through there, but they change course and possibly look to be drawing out a plan to head all the way up back towards this top lane. Mad committing in, looking to go for Fly, gets a couple of shots in, but will quickly pull back. Just the opportunities don't seem to be coming together here for the Freedom Fighters as easily as they are for Mr. Monkey's Business.
Yeah. Clockwork's just setting up kill after kill, and the only setup at this stage is the same setup they had from level 1, the Earthshaker Fissure. It was a Fissure to try and stun the stun the Anti-Mage at top, followed up by the blink in from the PA with Iron Shell. An Iron Shell PA is very strong in this kind of early to mid-game stage of the game, but they have no setup. They have nothing outside of the Fissure, and that's really the big problem there. Yapzor can't follow up the Fissure with a Totem or an Echo Slam because he's got no blink. As you'd expect, it's a 5-position Earthshaker, but very much Monkey Freedom Fighters just running out of options here to deal with the Anti-Mage, the Clockwork, any of these heroes. The Tombstone even can't really be touched in a team fight because if you fight into the Tombstone, there's a venomous Poison Nova waiting for you, and that's going to just destroy any team fight Monkey Freedom Fighters try and take.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Outside of a Fissure, they have fun little repositioning, like Glimpse and Vacuum, but no just rock-solid classic disable, classic lockdown, especially when you need it against a team with an AM who can be very slippery. This could prove to be difficult. As you see top lane, Mad could jab him all he wants, but an easy blink out from Miracle will just reposition him a bit. Look at Yapzor going to be caught out near the Ancient Camp, and they just pull out everything. Tombstone, Laguna. See you later, Yapzor. The up-and-comer is going to be easily dropped, and Monkey Business are going to be stealing away this big stack that was all for Necroman. Now going to be the business.
That's where the Tombstone actually is in a pretty decent spot. So slight overcommitment for an Earthshaker, but hey, we can get a secondary use for the Tomb, and this is a lot of farm that the Freedom Fighters were hoping to get for themselves, and I don't even think they can contest it. Vacuum's still just level 1, and that's where even some of these positional disables that we have on the Freedom Fighter side aren't even leveled up. The Glimpse, going to be leveled up, but Vacuum will take some time before we come online.
Now Mad still yet to pick up that first big item here. And you look to the PA to probably be the first person that the Freedom Fighters are going to need to kind of pull them out of this small hole that they've been placed into. I mean, where does she need to go from here? We saw something a bit different from Loda in the previous series, but it was, with the situation of having to go against the CK that probably prompted him to pick up the Maelstrom. What's your typical build-up at this point? Normally we see like PAs go Battle Fury maybe if they have great farm. I don't know if Mad's in a position to get a Battle Fury in this game.
He's possibly picking up the drums as just to upgrade the Bracer and go for a more fighting potential, since Monkey Business are going to force fights. Like, that's how far ahead they are. They're going to be pushing towers, stealing Ancients, coming right at the Freedom Fighters, and that's where drums wouldn't be too bad here. The other option is just to rush the BKB. You're going to need Magic Immunity against Lina, against Clockwork, and against the Venomancer Ultimate, so definitely a game where BKB is going to be essential. It's just a matter of when. Often when you buy the BKB too early, it really costs you later on. It may save you and get you a kill or two, but later on you suffer.
Oh man, they've committed so much here. They need to get this kill. They will get it. convenient timing for them. It looked like Miracle blinked from the lane to possibly farm that side camp where a little Necroman had melded himself. The
they didn't
trap
even
had
need
been
to use
sprung.
the glimpse, so that was very handy.
An Echo and a Static Storm, though, to bring down that
800
AM.
gold for the disruptor of all heroes, but hey, 800 gold is a big turnaround as they lose PA top to the Veno ulti.
Yep.
Travels blink. This Veno can be anywhere on the map at any time, and that's going to be an issue for Monkey Freedom Fighters.
Singh also had been put in a position where he's a bit quiet at this point. Was able to finish out the mech. Now they lead in. They're looking to go for Moon. Fissure got him in hold with his kinetic field, but look at the turnaround coming out from Moon. Wall or not, he's happy to stand and plant, and they're going to be taking out the Darkseer now. Fly in a bit of trouble as Necroman is looking to hunt him down. This kinetic field's not going to be able to imprison him. He walks back to the safety of company. Big Daddy shows up, TP's in with the new boots of travel, blinks forward. Necroman now going to be under the gun. Meanwhile, Moon looking to set up a secondary target here, but might be a bit over ambitious. They are going to be able to get the cleanup here on the Necroman. Look at Moon, though. Very, very deep. Now far from his team. Mad rotates in. Got to be able to pick him off.
Yeah. Getting a bit overconfident because his Blade Mail came back up, but still great fight for Monkey Business. Clockwork does die for the first time. Every time there's a kill, it's a lot of gold. It's the main worry because you're so far ahead on net worth. 800 gold to the PA now. So first, 800 gold kill on the Antimates. Now you've got an 800 gold on the Clockwork. So these kills will add up, but it's more like it's adding up for what? Is there really a late game way back into this game for Monkey Freedom Fighters? And it doesn't really look like it to me. They've got two good physical damage late game carries in PA and TA, but they've got to itemize so defensively because of the Venomancer, because of the Lina, the Clockwork. So we're going to see a BKB rush out of Mad, as I suggested, which I think is the right item, but this will, like, you'll get the BKB and you can maybe, like, have an even fight or two because of the magic immunity and being able to jump on someone like Lina. You can fight if you get hookshotted, but the longer the game goes after that, you'll get to late game and you'll have a 5-second BKB, and it doesn't help you farm. So Anti-Mage has a Battle Fury, PA has a BKB. One of them's out-farming the other drastically, and I can tell you it's not the PA.
Does this mean that Sing Sing needs to build up even extra defensively, too? He already committed and got the mech, which is nice, but do you divert from your typical Darkseer path of maybe going a blink and get, like, a pipe?
Nah, you go greedy. I feel like he could get away with a Midas at this point. There's one, like, to me, the two main situations getting Midas is when you get it ridiculously fast and you're ahead, or you're ridiculously far behind. And I think Monkey Freedom Fighters are in that position where a Midas is not a bad option for Sing Sing by any means. It's just going to come down to whether he wants that or the Blink Dagger. Whether he feels a Blink Dagger for an initiation is going to be a game changer. But for now, he's upgrades to Arcane Boots, so maybe suggesting he wants Greaves, although there's no silences to dispel with it, so it's not like an amazing Guardian Greaves game.
Seems to be the trend right now if you look over the inventories from the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters. You could tell this is probably not the pickup they were hoping to go for at the start of this game. I mean, even Necroman, he's got a Blink Dagger right now, which is nice, but typically comes after a nice big, like, Desolator pickup when your TAs like to just truck through the mid-game, taking all these names, and then has the Blink Dagger to just even do more work, but it's an early step off for a Blink Dagger. All the meanwhile, Monkey Business moving to that Roche Pit. They get their Aegis. They already smoke, and they head out, and they actually hand over the Aegis to Miracle in the meantime.
Yep. Which suggests, I think, he's going to... Well, I guess it's partially probably because he just died. He's often off by himself, and if they commit a Static Storm, they can kill him. So they can definitely kill him once. I see no way they can kill him a second time on respawn. So that's where, given an Aegis, he can now farm as aggressively as he wants to.
They spotted out Sing Sing here. Big Daddy leaps in, gets the Gale connection. The Surge is going to finish, and now they have the Yule set up, which will lead to the stun, which should lead to the kill. Darkseer will go down. Falcon below, yeah, Paris. Got to get caught out, and that means that he will also be dropped here. Gets the Static Storm and Kinetic Field off. Big Daddy eating a lot of that damage. Might have to turn back and just kind of heal up a bit. But that means Monkey Business were able to take down 2. They lose no one for it, and they just continue their assault in this game 1.
Yeah, they're pressuring towers now with Miracle, and again, this goes back to him having the Aegis and there being no way to kill him a second time. And he knows Disruptor's dead, so there's no Static Storm. So.
Oh, Necroman thinks he's going to be able to get a good trade with Miracle. Suddenly, Big Daddy shows up, pops out the Poison Nova, and Miracle, boop, yep. That's going to be the Aegis. Gets bopped right there from the tower. Necroman eating a lot of that dot damage. Has to refraction up, step back, hit, and he goes down. The rocket comes in even from Moon and certainly helps out. Now Crit gets the Yules here on the Yaps. And, oh, he gets the LSA, but then Mad jumps in, is going to defuse him. Moon being chased down from Sing Sing here. They're going to get the kill onto Necroman, and they get the return grab onto Crit. Can they get Moon? Dagger's going to be in. Kinetic Field, it looks like they will be able to take down the Clockwork. Monkey Freedom Fighters get, like, the first trade that works out in their favor in what feels like a long, long time.
Yeah. And it's hard to even say it really heavily works out in their favor. It's a 1 for 2. And I guess they got the Aegis as well. So with that in mind, it does damage Monkey Business's aggression a little bit, but they got a tier 2 bottom with the Anti-Mage. This is still all before he even finishes his Manta style, so he'll get that up, and then he'll be a lot tankier, harder to gank. And again, Monkey Freedom Fighters still have a lot of problems to solve. One of those is going to be the lack of follow-up stun for the Fissure, which now is fixed by Yapster having a Blink, so we can follow up the Fissure with a Totem, with an Echo Slam. It basically means they've now got 3 stuns that they can chain together rather than the 1 of the Fissure. Even though it's just the 1 hero, it makes a big difference for an Earthshaker when you're playing on this team, which only has Vacuum as your other disable. This is a very disable-lacking team compared to what Monkey Business have, where they have got LSA as well as the Clockwork.
Mid lane, Blink in Echo on the backstaff! Yapsor, what a connection! And they get the pullback from Sing Sing. A beautiful double kill.
That's promising.
That is promising. That's putting that Blink Dagger to use. Well played from Yapsor.
And they're getting so much gold out of these kills too, because again, they were 15,000 net worth behind before that begins, so it's a lot of money there going their way. It was a BKB on Mad. That's where this early BKB really comes into play. Problem is now he's not got it for the defense.
They left Mad. He went mid lane, got caught out from Moon, and has nowhere to go to. His team and friends just too far.
They left Mad, or Mad overstayed. I think it's a bit more of the latter. They should not have been staying once they got those 2 kills. They used everything to get it. PA has no BKB. They can't push even 5v3 there without their spells up, so it was never going to be a good fight for Monkey Freedom Fighters. So Mad just getting a bit just overzealous there and just probably forgetting that, oh yeah, I can actually die to a Clockwork coming in. So
yeah, they didn't even have the vision to see if the help was still near Mad or not, but considering they already blew everything in that earlier trade, I'm sure they would have been confident that even if backup came out, they would have still taken that fight regardless. So
this is really the Monkey Freedom Fighter window. They've got the PA BKB, the Earthshaker has Blink, TA's looking okay now, only has the 1 Mithril Hammer, but you can at least fight with these kind of items and levels they've got. Also, Sing Sing has Mech plus Blink himself, so the next 5 minutes they can, I feel, at least have even team fights. The problem's going to come, Anti-Mage is just, when Monkey Business sees it, they play the farm game. They say, okay, you guys are going for all these great mid-game items, which are going to make it hard for us to fight. We'll just out-farm you with Anti-Mage. So for me, Monkey Business is still in a fantastic position. It's just going to come down to how Freedom Fighters play the next 5 minutes. They still want to
fight, even as the 4 blinking in. Big Daddy now going to get caught out with a big vacuum wall setup. He'll go down first, Fly potentially the second. Mech will come out, keep him sustained a little bit. Looks like Paris will be the trade. Eating was way too much of that poison. Disgusting Ebola damage. Look at that, though. Big Mana Void out. But it's not going to finish anyone off. They shrug the damage away and look to retreat.
Level 3
this was even a committed buyback from Big Daddy to
mana
rotate in.
The Darkseer was a short kill if he got him. He had 0 mana.
They will be able to take down the tier 2.
And again, it's a trade that, looking at the number of heroes each team killed, favors Monkey Freedom Fighters, but outside of the fight, you look at who's farming more, who's taking towers. It's still Monkey Business. They lose a team fight 2-1, and then they take 2 towers. Is that really a team fight victory? Because it doesn't feel like it to me.
No.
It's 2 towers, both picked up by Anti-Mage, and Monkey Freedom Fighters get a kill, and again, it's with a PA BKB. It's already down to 8 seconds. 2 fights with BKB, and 2 theoretical team fight victories, but it just doesn't feel like. There's no long-term plan for Monkey Freedom Fighters here. They're just getting... They're going to lose the long game here, even if they're winning these small little skirmishes.
I mean, you could put everything in on this huge team fight, which we got to see a bit of it there in the mid lane, but outside of that, I agree with you. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Take another big team fight, get that huge net worth swing, will allow Mad to maybe invest in the extra item or so, but that's to maybe get up to on par with where Miracle already is in this game. And I don't know how comfortable I feel about the PA-AM toe-to-toe matchup in the late game, so...
Once AM can go for an MKB. I mentioned during the draft, PA's a hero that has been picked as a semi-counter to the AM, but the thing where AM excels is being able to out-farm a PA, unless PA decides to go for a Battle Fury build, which is just not really all that feasible, especially when he was so far behind this game. So if AM wants, we could see a MKB after the BKB.
Ooh, they come on through. They make a committed jump, but it's at the wrong spot. Big Daddy might be able to get the courier. No, it's going to make it away. Crit could have got it. Oh, we will still be able to get it with that long, ridiculous range of Lina. Necroman, who gets the first target out, is going to be finished off from Moon. Back in behind. A committed Echo comes out from Yapzor. Mad look at the stand. Looks to go for Miracle. Miracle's going to be able to slip out through the back door, but that means a gem has been dropped. Yapzor's going to bring it back, but what a glimpse right back into the wall. Beautifully done from Paris. Monkey Freedom Fighters still holding out on their own. It looks like they're going to be able to get Moon as well. They lead in with Mad. Mad's going to slice them apart. Fly, one of the last survivors after, could make it a full team wipe here. Moon is still alive. There, he's going to be finished off. Sing will grab him. The follow-up will be Fly. It's a 5-man wipe. Monkey Freedom Fighters.
Now they've won a team fight. Yeah, that's, to me, the first team fight they've actually won. The fight at mid where they revealed the Blink Echo was like, okay, they got 2 kills for 1. Same with the previous fight. But that time around, that was what they needed. A fight before AM had BKB, which limited his ability to go in. He never got off a mana void as well. Like every single fight, Sing Sing's using up all his mana. He's sitting on like 1,200 mana loss. He is a just ticking time bomb, but we're not seeing AM get any opportunities because he's being chain stunned. The Vacuum, the Earthshaker has been on point. Yapzor has been a big playmaker this game, and a key glimpse coming out from Disruptor to pull him back in for the kill. So that was it looked like it was just going to be over at that point. Like AM got away, Monkey Business lost 2 heroes. They got 1 kill on the TA. It was going to be another 1-for-2 trade, but the glimpse was what pulled back all of Monkey Business into the fight and created that team wipe.
Yapzor, Yules comes out for him. Not your typical Force Staff here.
Okay.
Anything particular with the Yules? Is it to just purge away any of those negative buffs that the business can bring?
It gives them another kind of counter-initiation tool. Force Staff is just pure mobility in a fight. Good against the Clockwork, of course, but being able to throw up the Anti-Mage in the air while you're focusing down someone else is always valuable. Not to mention, if Lina's looking to use a Yules combo, you can try and counter her from doing so by just disabling her yourself using that Yule Scepter. So just a bit of extra utility that the Force Staff doesn't maybe give you. And
then something, well, I feel is very appropriate for this game. Mr. Paris was able to finish out his Glimmer Cape. Going to be very nice against this Venomancer lineup. It ain't as luxurious as being able to have like a pipe for your whole team, but this Glimmer could make a big difference.
Yes. And importantly, he has also started work on the Ag Scepter. This is going to be, to me, like if we're talking about Monkey Freedom Fighter winning this game, that's like one of their must-have items this game at some point. To be able to kill the Anti-Mage who's got a BKB, you need to be able to silence him and prevent him from getting out of it, which is going to come from the Ag Scepter.
It's going to be hard for him to get that Ags, though.
Yeah.
Typically
he can't farm. He's going to have to get it from winning team fights, which is so far looking promising for Monkey Freedom Fighters.
He's got to work around these big ultimates.
Again, the BKB for PA getting shorter and shorter, down to 7 seconds now, so it's proven an incredible pickup for Mad. It's just the late game you always still have to worry about getting those early BKBs, getting down to 5 seconds, and fighting a Venomancer late game when you've got a 5-second BKB, that Poison Nova still wrecks you.
Look at the positioning here from Monkey's Business. Miracles, who's just farming with the Ancient Camp. His whole team just kind of stalking him.
And look at all these sentries and wards around the Roche pit. It's very much...
They're waiting for it. They're like, we want this Roche, and when it's up,
game plan.
We're going in there. Don't even come close. But they're going to be waiting still a whole other minute. And that's an extra minute for Freedom Fighters to just kind of farm in the meantime. Is it worth their time to even head in that neighborhood and consider contesting, or just take advantage of this window of farm while you got it? Take advantage of the time while it's an extra minute or so for this Aegis.
The fact that they're not there now suggests they have no interest in contesting it. Because for all Monkey Freedom Fighters know, Roshan is alive now and Monkey Business are taking it. They've got no vision. They're playing completely dark apart from one TA trap near the pit. They now ping it out because their TA trap scouts out a Venomancer ward, but they actually assume Monkey Business isn't Roshing. They're like, wait, why aren't they Roshing? What's going on? Oh, a max duration Roche respawn.
Yeah, it's the longest.
The longest possible Roche respawn. And Monkey Freedom Fighters, honestly, they're probably confused right now. Like, are they not Roshing? Are they smoke tanking? Like, what's going on here? They'll soon find out. DD AM rocks up, and that's an easy Roche.
Yeah, they'll get it. So this has been fortunate, though, for Freedom Fighters. It taking so long means they get this extra couple of minutes to quickly farm up and be prepared, Because after this Aegis, it's not like Monkey Business need to use this extra life to just push through tier 2s. Tier 2s are already all gone. No more outer towers to stand. Is this territory for Monkey Business to consider a push into the high ground? Maybe not grab the Aegis and go right for the high ground, but while you still have it available to you. Is it worth for them to start considering, going into the high ground? Don't want to risk this PA getting too crazy big.
Well, I think that's very much the thing. Right now, their anti-mage has hit his stride. He is in position to fight. He's filled up all his item slots, can upgrade the Vlads, can replace the Aegis later, but when you go for this BKB build, you want to use it to fight and push high ground. So I think we will be seeing Miracle push with his team and look for that high ground play. You've got a Venomancer who can scout with wards, set them up on the high ground. You've got the Tombstone. You don't want this game to drag to the ultra late game, because that's where AM ends up 6-slotted, PA still farming, can finish off those item slots, and AM suddenly is like, oh, I'm not really getting too much more, and PA is actually catching up because you've used up all your item slots. So I definitely see them going for a high ground push with this, and Monkey Freedom Fighters, they're going kind of all-in-ish. Mad's picked up an Abyssal Blade, a great item to have, but does mean he will not have buyback for the high ground defense, and very much a clear decision that they need the damage more than they need the buyback, and I think because of the nature of PA fighting around BKB, if you don't have BKB, you can't defend anyway. So he wants to do as much damage during the BKB as possible, which is where you don't worry about buyback. Because if you're buying back, you have no BKB, your second life doesn't even give you anything.
Just feels like, without surprise, Monkey Business are obviously, they have the extra time while they still have an Aegis. But once they have maybe buyback money here for Mad, I feel like Monkey Freedom Fighters might look to smoke and go out. They've been holding a smoke here in the Courier for quite a while, but
it's really hard to do so because of the Aegis, and because Monkey Business are going to be grouped as 5, because Monkey Business are thinking, we either want to group as 5 and push, or we want to find a pick-off and then push. So if you're smoking up on Monkey Freedom Fighters' side, you have to expect to run to 5 heroes with an Aegis, which I think is just a losing endeavor. So more likely they're just going to play a high ground defense game. If they use the smoke, it's more to get a backstab on the push, like where you see teams pushing high ground and you come in from behind with the smoke.
I mean, with such a big team fight, that seems to be probably the more probable. I mean, they could just save the smoke and put themselves hidden inside their own base for a more optimal setup. Does mean, though, that they're going to be pretty starved for farm. There's only a few places they can comfortably go out.
They're getting scouting information. Like the TA traps, they spotted the Undying, they spot the Clockwork now, which means they know Monkey Business are probably 5 heroes in their jungle and pushing bottom lane. So it gives Darkseer a bit of room to get that extra wave pushed out at top, and we will see this tier 2 tower at top be pressured. So if Monkey Business want to push, it'll at least be like a tier 2 tower top before they can come back and defend, which is a bit of money going their way.
Let's see if that's the case. In the meantime, Miracle finishes out his Butterfly now. We like your big Abyssal Blade, but Miracle now has a chunk of evasion that you're going to have to try to bully your way through.
Yeah. Good against it. You know the PA is limited for farm right now, so PA will not be able to get an MKB anytime soon. Not to mention PA wants to go for like the lifesteal route at this time, so the Butterfly could force PA to go for like an MKB before BKB, before the Satanic even comes up.
Here comes the siege from Monkey Business. Miracle committing the Manta. Tombstone on the high ground. Big Daddy unleashes the Nova, and it's an air ball. Can they find a setup? Sing Sing goes in. Big glimpse on the pullback. Yapsor will get the setup with the fissure, and Big Daddy will go down.
That was such a good play from Sing Sing. He blinked in just for vision, just so they could get that glimpse off. He was not looking to blink vacuum wall. He was just giving Disruptor the vision he needed to get that glimpse off. That was a sick play from Sing Sing, and Monkey Freedom Fighter's mad at the bottom. He's been jumped.
He is. He gets bumped back briefly here. BKB already committed. Gets the Glimmer help from Paris.
They're fighting without PA BKB. That's going to be a big problem for them.
Very, very tough. So, repositioning here. Moon committing in. Gets put right back. And it's very touch and go. I'm sure in the back of their mind they know Yapsor still an Echo Slam in his back pocket here. Monkey Business get too comfortable as they take a tier 3, and Rax is now going to be exposed. Huge set of creeps here. Does he commit? Vacuum back, pull away. He wants more. Yapsor not looking to pull the trigger quite yet. Moon commits in. Mad's able to jump away to safety, away from the cogs, but meantime Miracle starts chunking down this Rax. The Glyph, though, is going to stop all that damage. Paris going to be left without any mana now. He takes a lot of shots, will be forced to Glimmer. Mad looking to commit in, gets the Abyssal Blade off. Moon jumps back in, re-engages with the hook shot. Yapsor continues to wait. No opportune time for this Echo as Monkey Business swarm on in. Big Daddy's back. This one not an air ball. There's the vacuum Echo we've been waiting for. Can the Freedom Fighters use it to hold off the trouble? Doesn't look like it, though. Miracle's going to be able to pop the BKB, and Mad's going to be forced to buy back. Business, though, not going to get this Rax. What a nice glimpse back. They'll be taking out Big Daddy, no tail. Fly's going to be left alone. Too. Yeah, that means they have no mana on Fly. Fly, he's going to get dropped. Miracle now.
He needs to bail.
He's going to be forced to retreat. They will lose 4. 5 if you count the first death of Big Daddy. It does cost Monkey Freedom Fighters.
Died with like 6K worth of items on it. I'm not sure exactly.
Butterfly, the Butterfly.
Oh wow,
the butterfly that they were, waiting for.
He was trying to replace the Aegis with Butterfly. Unfortunately for Sing Sing, he had his Hex being delivered on the courier right as Venomancer like jumped in, so he could have had buyback theoretically. I mean, he didn't need buyback. They win the fight. They hold their racks. Monkey Freedom Fighters are still in this game now. They've also just survived the Aegis of Miracle, so that gives them more time to just progress with their items. Unfortunately, the PA buyback means that Mad's item progression isn't really there, and Mad is the one who I think more than anyone needs it.
Yeah.
Necroman as well in the TA, I feel will definitely need the MKB next. As soon as they see this Butterfly, they're going to be like, oh crap, we've got to be able to deal with this evasion. But both PA as well as TA will need Monkey King bars pronto.
And they don't lose a Rax. They lose their tier 3.
That's manageable. Even losing a lane of Rax, if like let's say Monkey Business again get another uncontested Roshan and just take 1 lane of Rax, that's not going to be the game secured at that point. We're reaching that point in the game where AM is 6-slotted, and he's not getting any more farm. So from here on out, it's just, I mean, you get your Moonshard, but like throwing a Moonshard on top of your item build isn't like a big boost in what AM offers you in a team fight or in a push. So very much the PA has a lot of room to grow, and the Anti-Mage does not right now. Same for the Templar Assassin as well.
And we all know Zhao is a man of good patience, but Yapzor, that fight, my God, he was nursing that Echo for the opportune moment. Looked like it, though. Certainly helped. It was the gunpowder from the explosion of a defense from Monkey Freedom Fighters.
One of the scary things for me, though, for Monkey Freedom Fighters is still that Venomancer is going to be a huge late game threat. The damage output on Poison Nova, which he's going to have an Octarine Core to lower the cooldown even further, is ridiculous. That's where fighting into Venomancer as a carry is really not that... It's kind of like late game Zeus. Zeus, Venomancer, these kind of heroes in the late game with huge magic damage are late game beasts.
They went up to the high ground. Big Daddy was there, but quickly repositioned. Now Moon's going to cut off the choke point. They lead out with the Static Storm. Miracle looking to commit in. Gets the kill onto Paris. Back in behind Mad. He is just way too far from home. Necro will be there as a backup, but they already take out Mad. Laguna will help secure the grab onto Necro, man. Both cores down, and Mad has no buyback, gods. That could have been the nail in the coffin for Monkey Freedom Fighters.
It was the right time to smoke, too. Aegis was gone. You have some key items. That, to me, is a great time to smoke. They just got caught going from low ground to high ground, and Monkey Business, it was pure positioning, that fight. That was the exact right time to go for a smoke play. There was nothing wrong about that play strategically. It was just where they happened to run into Monkey Business.
Big Daddy was just at that right spot, the right time. He saw the incoming trouble, quickly put himself in a new spot, and Moon, very fast to respond, got him right in that choke point. And Mad, unfortunately, just caught too far away.
Veno just, I mean, No-Tail's position where he hit that Poison Nova was just huge. And the cogs as well. Moon, with the counter initiation, Mad's entire BKB duration was wasted. He was blocked out by the cogs, couldn't get in and fight.
Look at this dirty play from Big Daddy. He just drops a disgusting Ebola fart right on everyone in their own fountain.
Just preventing Blink Daggers. 16 seconds where they cannot initiate.
Disgusting. And a rocket. Just like, come on!
Yeah.
Well, 2 racks down. Third one in trouble. It looked like Monkey Freedom Fighters were holding their own there for a while, gods, but suddenly the business gives them the business, and they just kind of go in and take over. There's nothing really else to be said about it. This is it. The final hurrah is the last racks to be going down here. Monkey Freedom Fighters, though, have a chance to stay alive in the series. It's a best of 3 after all. But convincing Game 1 performance here overall for Monkey Business.
Definitely Monkey Freedom Fighters showing they've got some great teamfight capabilities. They work together well as a team from behind, but it was too much of a deficit, and yeah, it was... They got forced to go for these very defensive items like the BKB early on PA, which you don't normally like to do. Definitely was still impressed by their ability to team fight despite the deficit, though. They were down like 15, 20k gold and managed to really start to pull it back, but not quite enough.
Mad's like, I'm going to take someone with me, but what he doesn't know is Miracle has his own Abyssal Blade, gets the connection on the Mad, and then they get the return Abyssal, and he will be able to get the finish on the fly. That's all they wanted. Now it's going to be game, and that will be the end of it. So, Monkey Business take a one-game advantage of this best of 3. And what do you think, man? Do you think it just comes down to the team composition that they had thrown together? Obviously, we were expecting Necroman to have a bit of a tough time with Big Daddy on the Venom in the mid lane. Both teams put a lot of emphasis on that mid lane, especially, surprisingly, from the side of Monkey Business. You'd think that if they just left the Venom there, they're like, oh, he'll be able to do his own. But they put the extra trouble of having, like, crit there at the start, just to make sure that Necroman was just going to be in trouble.
Yeah. I think it was partially the draft. I don't want to put... I don't think you can really put all of them on the draft. I think Moon on the Clockwork was a huge playmaker. It was very much how he came online and took control of the entire early to mid game. He was the one creating space absolutely everywhere for No-Tail to farm on the Veno and for Miracle to farm on the Anti-Mage. So to me, he came online. Sing Sing, it wasn't that he played badly. Darkseer by nature as a hero needs a lot more farm and a lot more levels before he can do what the Clockwork was doing. And also, like, the offlane was won by Monkey Business. They got kill after kill on the PA. So they had stronger lanes, and that's with an anti-mage draft. So when you're winning the laning stage and you've got an anti-mage on your team, it puts you in a fantastic position.
Yeah. It was surprising how much dominance they showed in that early to mid game just as the 4. And it works out beautifully for them. Lots of tenacity from the Freedom Fighters, but not enough to give them the win. So we'll see if they can bounce back here, folks. It's the Nanyang Championships here, EU qualifier. We'll be back for Game 2 of this best of 3 in just a moment.